Hello, today I'm going to be sharing with you the steps that I take to help prepare myself and my girls to start new curricula. A lot of people think that when you are switching curricula that it is super easy. I'm not talking about curricula where you go from one level to the next. I'm talking about a brand new piece of curriculum for that subject matter. It is not an easy process, and personally, I feel like there are steps that need to be taken in order to make sure that that transition runs smoothly. The first thing that I do is this is after I have chosen the curriculum, it is at home. I have decided. I have gone from decide mode to prep mode. What I'm doing for prep mode is I am reading all of those teachers' notes, all of the suggestions, any material. Yes, you can look at those things online or even flip through them in a store if you have one available, but it's just a little bit different. Once you bring that curriculum home, you've decided that you're actually going to use it. Now is the time where I get into that curriculum book and I am reading from page to page the notes that I need, what it has for me to do, preparation, suggestions, additional usage, all of those things that you find at the beginning of that book, so that I get a really clear picture as to what this curriculum is going to require of me and of my daughter. After I'm done reading those first pages of information for the teacher, which is me, I then move on to the first 5 to 10 lessons. I am going through each of these lessons to figure out what is required of my child and how much this is different from our previous curriculum. Things that I'm looking for when I do that is this simply a review? The first 5 to 10 lessons, is this a review of something that they covered in the previous curriculum? Is it something that my daughters need to work on? Like, we need additional help with those subjects because they were covered in a last curriculum, and I feel like maybe we need a little bit of extra time on it? Or are we starting and jumping into all brand new concepts? A lot of curricula you will find, they flow from one level to the next. Typically, you start out with a review of what you learned in the previous level. So if your child is starting off brand new in this curriculum, you don't know whether or not this is review for your child or previous work or whatever it may be. That's important to me. I want to make sure that when we get through those first 5 to 10 lessons, that my daughters know what is going on, at least have an idea of what is going on. It keeps them from being discouraged. You would hate for your child to get into a curriculum, starting it brand new, and then be discouraged at lesson 3 because it's all new concepts and they're having a hard time catching on to that. After I have determined what is happening in the first 5 to 10 lessons, I then go and find supplements. A lot of times I can do that right here in our homeschool. Sometimes I may have to go outside and find different workbooks, subject-based workbooks. For example, one of my daughters was working on elapsed time. That is something that throughout the school year we struggled a little bit with. So I found a specific focused elapsed time book for her to work through. Now, if this is perfect, if this lesson or new curriculum that she started on, there's a lesson on elapsed time. This gives her the summer to really hone in on that, for us to give that extra time. So that may be any subject. If there are new concepts being introduced in the first 5 to 10 lessons, I do a quick brush through of that for my daughters. We talk about it so that when they hear about it, it's not completely brand new. I'm only doing this because we're starting a new curriculum, not because they are transitioning from one to the other. If they were just transitioning from levels, then it would be a smooth transition. The curricula go together, it flows just fine. But you're going to miss some flow if you're changing from one type of curriculum to a totally different one. Once I've found those supplements, I just keep my girls working on it through the summer or throughout that break that we have until we start that new curricula, because it gives them that confidence. It helps them to have a greater understanding of what is going on. It also helps me to understand how this is going to flow for them. They work on those supplements. We're still not touching the new curriculum just yet, but the supplements are preparing us for what is about to happen in that upcoming curriculum. And because we homeschool year round, this is the perfect opportunity to do that. So it's almost like they're not really missing a beat in our daily rhythm. The next thing that I do is try to familiarize us with any manipulatives that may be needed for that specific curriculum, any cards that are being used, anything like that to help make the transition a lot easier. Also, what is the flow of the new curricula that you're going to be using in comparison to the previous one? There may be lessons are set up completely different. So if you can kind of mimic that flow with the lessons and the supplements that you're working on during the summer or this break time before you start the new curricula, it makes it a lot easier to transition into that new one. Also, think about the lessons themselves. Is your child going from doing grammar for 10 minutes a day to now doing it 30 minutes a day? That is a huge transition depending on that curriculum. Or going the opposite. They've been doing grammar for 30 minutes a day. It's taking them that long to get through a lesson, or that's the allotted time you have. And now they get through a grammar lesson in 10 minutes. Do you need supplements for grammar to help reinforce the concepts? Or is this going to be a good transition? Is that the reason why you transition? So if you want to see how we're setting up our schedule for the upcoming school year, make sure you subscribe.